Howdy everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm finally disclosing my favorite survivor, Guest. Out of all the survivors, he has the highest potential, and his abilities are the most versatile in the game. Before I begin, I looked at YouTube's analytics and noticed that only 4.2% of my viewers are actually subscribed to my channel. If you enjoy what I do and want to motivate me to keep uploading more, then please subscribe. It really helps my channel. So, without further ado, enjoy the video. Guest is one of the most powerful survivors in the game, naturally having an extra 15 health and having 2 separate moves that give him full invincibility can be extremely detrimental to the killer's time. By far, out of every survivor in the game, Guest takes the most skill. He requires patience, timing, aim, and just a lot of game sense altogether. After the last few months the game's been out, a lot of players have decently figured out Guest's kit and found good ways to make his block and charge somewhat consistent. However, there's a lot I don't see Guest players do, which makes me think they either don't know about it, or just haven't thought of practical uses for it. So today, I'm going to quickly cover what his abilities do, and show off some really useful information that might save you in sticky situations. Starting with his first ability, his block. Guest slows down for 2 seconds and puts his guard up for 1 second. During the guard, he's immune to all physical damage, and if he's struck, he'll gain a speed boost and put his guard down. After his guard is struck, he unlocks a new ability, his punch. Normally, it has a 0.8 second windup, and stuns for 2 seconds. However, using it immediately after a block will trigger a parry. Parries make the punch travel way further, swing way faster, and stuns for a much better 3.5 seconds. The downside to using a parry is you lose your speed boost, but more often than not, it's super duper worth it. That's great and all if you land everything, but when you miss your block or punch, you're drastically slowed for a brief moment, leaving you severely exposed to an easy counter on the killer's part. This is part of Guest's high risk, high reward, which is why he's such a difficult survivor but can be super effective. Lastly, he has his charge, a large dash that knocks the killer back and grants a split second of invincibility if it lands. It also disables the killer's abilities for the same amount of time as the invincibility lasts, which is 1.25 seconds. If you miss the tackle, you gain slowness too, and how long it lasts depends on how far you are from the killer. Also, if another Guest charge into the killer, and you charge into the killer within 10 seconds of them, you take 15 damage, and the charge's knockback, invincibility, and cooldown for the killer does not apply, rendering it completely useless. So, that's practically the bread and butter of Guest. He's simple and extremely effective. A lot of people look at these basic attributes and don't think much of him, so let's get a little bit more advanced. In one of the recent updates, Guest received a change which I consider to be a new hidden passive. Let's call it priority. If you and a survivor are standing directly beside each other, and the killer swings on top of the both of you, you are always going to be the one getting hit. This allows Guest to defend any teammate being hunted by the killer by blocking and parrying their blow that wasn't intended for you. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about his block. A lot of people don't know how to land it consistently, and people just assume it's a guessing game of when the killer is going to swing. That is the case sometimes, but you can usually manipulate when the killer will swing and parry them for it. With Guest, you want to juke very often. All killers think differently when they see a Guest bobbing and weaving. Some killers will stop and think about where you're juking, or just stare and wait for the block because they're scared of the parry. Other killers will just unga bunga swing like there's no tomorrow. The more they miss their swings, the less they think about your block. It gets to a point where they just want to hit you. They start losing their patience, not even thinking about your block anymore. That's when you can predict when they're going to swing, and run into their attack on purpose, blocking it and securing a parry. This is by far the most effective way to land parries, since no matter how experienced a player is, killers just have to predict when you're going to go for a sudden block, which is extremely unlikely and just wastes even more of their time. There's other means of securing blocks too. You can bait some killers by sitting on a generator, then popping off of it and quickly blocking just as they're about to hit you. You can also pretend to be using an item, quickly put it away and block. Good killers don't usually fall for this anymore, but it can still be useful. And if you and the killer have low ping, you can actually react to John and 1x4's M1s. You can react by either the animation or an audio cue. Here's a small example. Yeah. Some killers just straight up give you guaranteed blocks and stuns, such as Cool Kid's Walk Speed Override from a distance, or 1x4's Mass Infection point blank. Lastly, after you land a charge, you can time when they'll be able to swing again and block at the same time, because remember, you're temporarily disabling their attacks when you crash into them. Before I move on to the charge, the last thing I'd like to mention about the block is that you can actually block projectiles. It's kind of gimmicky though. If you block ranged attacks, it doesn't cancel your block, still making you super slow, but it completely nullifies the damage. It's super situational on when you should use this, but you can do things like block John Doe's wall, Cool Kid's Corrupt Nature, and even 1x4's Entanglement and Mass Infection. Keep in mind though, blocking the projectiles will still apply the status effects they normally would, such as Cool Kid's Slowness, 1x4's Poison, and even John's Speed. So, onto the charge, which is where Guest gets extremely interesting. In my opinion, this is the best move in Guest's kit, and people just don't know how to use it properly. Let me explain. There's usually only 3 ways people use Guest's charge. They use it to push the killers away from survivors getting chased, they use it to push killers off of ledges, and they use it to negate damage with good timing. While these are fairly effective ways to use the ability, I think people are missing out on the most crucial way to use it against killers. Specifically against Cool Kid and 1x, but the charge instantly kills minions. I cannot tell you how many times I abused this. Cool Kid summoning minions just for me to line them up and no longer relevant for the next 50 seconds. One Guest completely eliminates one of Cool Kid's abilities for the whole game. It's so valuable for you and your teammates. As for 1x4, most of them use Rejuvenate the Rotten after 4 to 5 kills. If there's minions in strong areas you need to loot, you can just gather them up and boom, doesn't matter anymore. And just in general, you can take your time eliminating each minion if you really want. Nothing can stop you from your onslaught of minions. Normally, you can't use your charge for distance since it's overall worse once you get the slowness. However, crashing into a minion negates the slowness. If you know where the minions are, you can loop on a path that leads you into a perfect position for a free charge on one, giving you incredible distance over the killer. Overall, Guest is an extremely impactful sentinel with insane support for his team via killing minions, body blocking, and has great survivability on his own with the extra health, 2 moves that make him invincible, and a 3.5 second stun. I hope to see more Guests utilizing the charge to kill minions, because it's extremely detrimental for killers and wastes a lot of their time. Thank you so much for watching. Reminder, I do a poll after every video so you can vote for which video I do next. You can also join my Discord to be a part of my growing community. Link is in the description. Or you can type discord.gg/howdy to join Howdy's House of How. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. There you go, I'm starting to get good at generating again.
My bad.
Yo, what the hell?